All right, all right. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you so much for joining. Um, as you can see from my beautifully colorful screen, we are doing birth charts for beginners. And I decided to do this particular topic since I did a numerology video and I have been like all up and through my birth chart and birth charts of my friends that, hey, let me go ahead and start sharing some of the things that I'm learning. And since I'm a beginner, I can explain it to you in the way that I understand it. And hopefully, for those of you that are exploring your own birth charts, you will understand it in the same way. So, today we're going to talk about what the heck is this. But first, I just want to kind of show you what my agenda is, what my plan is. So, Um, first, we're going to talk about just the overall what's included in a birth chart. So we'll take a look at one and I'll point some stuff out. Um, Next, we will have the zodiac signs. Then we'll talk about planets, elements, celestial bodies. We'll do a breakdown of what houses represent, aspects, transits, and just some really high level how to kind of start putting some of these things together. And I may even give you a snippet of that today, depending on how I'm going through this presentation. So, birth charts. So, what the heck is all this? So, I want you to picture our galaxy, not the universe, because that's vast, our galaxy as a big old clock. And, well, not a clock because the hours aren't the same clock. So, we'll say a circle. It's a big old circle. And what happens is at the moment our soul decides it's going to incarnate on earth, it discusses everything. So we talked about some of that with the numerology, with your life path number, and some of the other elements that are in your numerology chart. So same thing, what your sign is going to, what your various signs are going to be, um, where the planets need to be. So at the perfect moment, at the right time, the right moment, your soul comes to earth. And the moment you snapshot, that is what is happening in the galaxy at the time of your birth. So what has happened is you're laying up and you're looking up in the sky. You're looking up into the cosmos and you draw your circle and then you divide your circle into 12. So a circle is 360 degrees. So we're dividing it into 12. So each one of those 12 segments is called a house. And the houses are basically certain areas of our life. So each house represents a certain area of life. So, for example, um, your fourth house. So, fourth house is family. It's more than just family, but this is just for conversation since I'm going to do a video around houses. Um, your seventh house is partnerships and one to one relationships. Um, your 12th house is your subconscious. So it's looking at the different areas of your life. Then it has your zodiac signs. So all of these, even though you are born specifically attached to one sun sign, you also have a moon sign here. You also have an ascendant or rising sign here. You have a descendant sign here. You also have, we've got Pluto, Neptune, Venus. So even though there are some signs that are most dominant in your personality, you have aspects of every sign um, in your personality. Um, so you have the signs, and then inside here, inside all these little symbols represent planets and celestial bodies. So, like, this is the moon. Right here, we have Pluto. Here is the sun right here. Um, this is a comet called Chiron that's right here. So you've got all of these different elements. And so what is the purpose of the birth chart? The purpose of the birth chart is basically that additional information around your soul contract. What is happening? What is your soul and can't come here to do? What is your journey going to look like? What I mean, everything from what you look like, your first and second house really talk about, your appearance. Like what does your face look like? What does your body look like? Your sixth house is about health. So how do you take care of your body? What aspects of your health should you really hone in on this particular life? It talks about matters of fate. So for instance, hold on, make sure I'm reading my notes. 1 second. This is why I'm not on video, because I know I'm like, okay. So this upper portion, so if we drew a line right across here, and everything that's on the top half of this chart is your outward energy. So extrovert, think outward, think public. That's the things that are happening out in the public. Whereas, and ironically enough, this is the Southern Hemisphere. So even though it's on top, this is the Southern Hemisphere. And then we have the Northern Hemisphere on the bottom. So it's the opposite. So this is the personal, your introvert energy. This is what you have going on inside, just essentially inside your personal life. That's, not necessarily. Sorry, mommy duty never stops. Okay, so down at the bottom, you have your personal, like the things that everybody doesn't see. Um, then you have the left side. So you draw a line straight through here. On the left, what you have is the areas of your life that you really like personally control. Like it's less about fate, like you have a little bit more control. One moment. Okay, I wanted to tell you how I almost slipped and slid into my couch trying to get back over here, but hey, it's all good. Okay, so we've got control and surrender. So the left side is control and the right side is surrender. So just to kind of give you like a quick and dirty. So this chart is based on the fact that there's more happening up here. Most of this stuff is happening up here. So most of this person's influence life is they're probably an extrovert. That's where their energy is at. Their energy is outward energy, less introspective, more extroverted. Areas of their life are more out and have to do with them dealing with other people. Also looking at it, it's more to the right, which is the Eastern hemisphere. So they, Western, sorry, hemisphere. So they have a lot of things that are fated. A lot of things that are fated that maybe they don't have any control of, where they have to just surrender control and allow these things to take place. So that's just quick, immediately what you can see from the chart. Let's see something else I can show you on here, just to kind of give you a good insight on what kind of things that you can quickly see in this chart. So let's see. Okay, so Venus is in Sagittarius. So Venus is your love language. So Sagittarius are all about, they're the guru sign, expansive, traveling, cultured, knowledge, things of that nature. So the person whose chart this is would definitely be someone who may be into people who are cultured, maybe people who are foreign or who have knowledge of foreign things, or may meet this person in a foreign land, but definitely someone who is all about the mental. So if you wanted to really connect with this person's heart space, you would have to connect with their head space. You'd have to connect with their mind, because that's the area that they're most attracted to, is of the mind. And because it's really super close, like it's right here at 26 degrees and it's really close to Capricorn, they probably want you to be adventurous like a Sagittarius, but also have a balance of being grounded like a Capricorn. Um, Everything has its opposite. And so the same goes true for astrology. So whatever house is on one side, its opposite energy is on the other side. So like the first house is about self, your relationship, your awareness of yourself, whereas your seventh house is your one-to-one relationships with other people. So still about you, but it's about you and one other person. Your second house is how you personally make money, how you make money yourself. And your eighth house is about getting money from other people. So each house has its opposite energy. You can also say these are the shadow aspects. So if you're like trying to do shadow work, and I won't go, we'll do a video or a blog. One of the things will happen on Patreon is either going to be a video or a blog about shadow work. But short version is getting to know the side of yourself that you don't show outwardly to other people. So your first house is who you show outwardly to other people. Your seventh house then would be the aspects of yourself that you don't really identify with, that you don't describe yourself as, that you don't put yourself out there as. So this person may be very nurturing, very motherly, very maternal, very caring, very emotional, which is the complete antithesis of what you know of when you hear about a Capricorn. Capricorns are not known to be emotional. They're very grounded, very centered, very success oriented, and that's success public oriented, as versus where a Cancer may feel like their success is more personal in terms of how they are successful in their family life, their home life, their personal stability. So that's just a quick little rundown of what you can learn from a birth chart. Like I said, I'm going to go through, and on the next one, I'm going to do zodiac signs. So I'm going to go through each of the signs and kind of give you some like adjectives, nouns, descriptors, feelings, energies around each one of the zodiac signs, so that you can start putting some of these puzzle pieces together. I'll leave a link in the description box for where you can get, I'll leave a couple links, but I am falling more and more in love with astro.com. astrologer.com. I really like their chart, but I'll put a couple of links in there where you can get your birth chart. So that way you can kind of start labeling things, or at least seeing the labels and understanding what you're looking at. If you have specific questions around certain things in your own chart, I am not an astrologer, as it says quite clearly here. It says beginner astrology with an astrology beginner. Give me a couple of years, I'll be an astrologer because I'm picking it up, but I am still studying and still a student. But I'm a tactile learner. And so for me, reteaching what I learn is how I retain information. So this is both my gift to you to help you learn, and also a gift to myself so that I can retain and make sure that I remember what I know from studying. So I hope that you like this video. Please be sure to give it a like, give me a nice little thumbs up. Make sure you drop in the comments again what you want to know. Like I'm doing Zodiac Signs next. And when I do the Zodiac Signs, my intention is to go through each one of them and also talk about the biggies, like your sun and moon and your rising and your midheaven. So I'll also touch on how to see those in your chart and why those specific ones are important. And I think that is everything. Make sure. Yeah, I think that's everything. This kind of got prompted because I was working on my solar return chart. And I will just give you I'm thinking about doing a solar return one, but just to kind of give you a heads up, I did an analysis of my 2020 solar return chart. So a solar return chart is kind of like your birth chart, but it's for your solar return. And it's essentially the chart snapshot, again, of the cosmos at the time your sun moves back into the same sign, same degree that it was in when you were born. So when this happened is not always exactly on your birthday. So I have a solar return, which is the 31st, and then my birthday on the 1st. So I'm going to basically celebrate twice. I'm just let that be known that the turn up is going to happen twice. I don't know what the turn up's going to be with us being in a pandemic, but the turn up's going to happen twice. So I took the snapshot of that happening for this year to see, I'm one of those, I want to experiment. So I am spiritual, but I also like to put a practical aspect of it, which is actually part of my journey with my North and South node, is taking me being spiritual and practical application of it. So I looked at it, I said, let me look at 2020. And there's just so much accuracy. So much accuracy. I was like, and I only did high level. I didn't get into like the minutia because again, I'm still learning. So I didn't get into a whole lot of the aspects and things like that. But I did just jot down like what the overarching themes were based on each of the 12 houses. And I can relate one thing happening almost every month, if not more than one thing that the chart called out. And I didn't even do a deep dive. I didn't even compare it to my birth chart. I didn't do any of that. I just did overarching energy and it was accurate. So for those of you that are skeptical about astrology and you're just kind of hearing about it, you're trying to check it out, my suggestion is pull your birth chart. Pull your birth chart. And we'll talk about transits. And if you want me to help you see how to pull it on astro.com, that's fine. For my Patreon members, you can absolutely send me a message and I'll do that. But pull your birth chart and pick an important day and see what was happening around that time with the planets, what was happening close to it, whether it's a few days before, a few days after, what was happening close to it. One of the esoteric principles that I've heard more than once is as above, so below. So the cosmos is not making anything happening in your life. You still have free will, even if you're on your spiritual journey and spirit is saying you need to do this. At the end of the day, you still have free will. What it's saying is the stars are basically aligned to make whatever happen. even at the same thing, it also help you to mitigate certain things. So if you know the energy is around to say having um, a spat, let's use that. There's a spat with a loved one. You know, this planet is in a place where you could be overly emotional, be mindful. Well, cool. That means I know that the first time I hear something on this particular day, if my initial gut reaction is to flip out, I'm already prepared for that to be my reaction and to know that I need to take a moment, don't react, step back, breathe through it, and let it ride. Come back after that energy is passed and still see if I still feel the same way. If I still feel the same way, it is what it is. But this at least it's a tool. It's a tool because the source, the creator doesn't want us to have like this life where we're just like, I don't know what's happening, things are happening to me instead of for me. What the birth chart does and what understanding your transits and things like that do is understand that these energies are happening for your highest good, not to you, but with you. If you learn to work with what's happening around you and bring yourself with alignment with your soul, with yourself, then even if you have a traumatic experience and you have to go through that grief and things like that, you at least have some tools in your toolkit to help you navigate through those experiences. So again, I hope you like that. I did not mean to continue to go any longer, that extra little bit, but again, I really do hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think. And otherwise, I will catch y'all on the flip side. Holla.